Well, I have a very different Sunday school class today.
I'm happy.
I have Bill in my class. Y'all like it? Yes. But we miss Loria, don't we? We miss Loria Webster. So Bill's got to fill in. He's got to be William Webster. Okay? You think you can do it, Bill?
Probably done.
All right. Today, we are studying My Amazing God. Can you say My Amazing God?
My amazing God.
Monty, can you say it? Say it.
My amazing God.
What about Bill? Can he say it?
My amazing God.
He can do it. He's trying to be little. Are you trying to be little? No.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah. Be little with us. That's fine.
Be little.
My amazing God. Last week we studied about our amazing God. Uh-oh, Brother Jose. There it is. Yep. I got you.
Sorry.
Last time we studied our amazing God, we studied my amazing or our amazing God gave us his only begotten Son. It was Christmas, wasn't it? About Christmas. But this week we're starting in our regular lessons, and the one we're going to do today is, listen, our amazing God can do amazing things to call you out.
Amazingly.
Mm-hmm. Amazing. Okay, William Webster, what does the word amazing mean?
Bringing amazement. To be amazed.
And what, let's get down to the nitty gritty on that.
Let's not use the word
What
amazing.
is, right.
Let's not use
What
the word
does
amazing.
amazing?
It means great surprise, shock,
Something that's a lot different than you expected it to be?
An unexpected shock.
Yeah, something you never expected it to do that or be that way. Okay, today we're going to really talk about something that was not expected. What is it, Nehemiah?
When you were happy, you can just go in your room and then you can just play and read for 8 years.
That's amazing. That is amazing.
That is amazing.
But I don't think you
That's
can
kind of
do
what
that.
Lainey's been doing.
I got a
the entire
I don't
question.
think you can do that. What?
So when you say amazing things to call you out, do you mean call you out on what you're doing wrong or call you out of the world?
Call you out of the world. Call you to him, to himself. So God sometimes wants to call somebody to him. And you don't know how to tell them. You don't know what to tell them to make them know that it's God. You know, you've got to have some kind of way of letting them understand that this is not just anybody calling them. This is God, Nehemiah. So if you're in your room for 8 years, you may not hear God, right? What is that? You don't know what that is?
What is what?
He was doing his tongue all kind of strange. What is that? Just doing funny things? Okay. You gonna listen to me?
You're going to be in your
Okay.
room for 8
You're
years.
gonna listen to me, Amani, right? Okay. So our God can do amazing things to call you out, and we're going to learn about a man that got called out to be one of God's chosen messengers, one of his great prophets. We're going to learn about that today, and we're going to learn about the amazing thing God did to call him out, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we think calling out is like getting on to, but it's not. That's not it.
Right.
That's not what I meant. Okay, so our amazing God can do amazing things, or surprising, shocking, really new things that you didn't expect.
Inventive.
Yeah, inventive. All of those things. Thank you, William Webster. Amazing things to call you out. Okay, today we're going to talk about Moses. And look, Moses, oh my, he was raised in a palace, but he was one of the people of Israel who were slaves. He really was. But the princesses found him in the water. Remember in the ark, that little basket that was made by his mother? And she took him home with her, and she raised him. But one day he went out to see his brethren, and he saw an Egyptian beating one of them, and he killed the Egyptian, and he hid him in the sand. And so the next day he saw two of his brethren fighting, and he tried to get between them and say, "Are y'all going to hurt each other? You're brethren." And they said, "You're going to kill us like you did the Egyptian?" So Moses left Egypt because he was afraid. And when he got out there in the wilderness, he saw a bunch of ladies, and they were keeping their sheep, and he became one of their family. He married one of the girls, and he became one of their family. Okay, so he's out there in the wilderness. What's happening to the children of Israel then, Bill? What are they doing?
They're getting beat and they're working.
They're working, and
they're making bricks, aren't they?
Yes.
I'm pretty sure they were building the what are they? They were the
they were
pyramids.
slaves, maybe building the pyramids.
I think that's what they were doing.
The Egyptians were always building something amazing, weren't
Right.
they? And so they were building things, but they had to do it. They didn't get paid for it. They were slaves. And all the time Moses, he was out in this wilderness for 40 years. He was raising a family. He was a shepherd. And he was just going out in the desert and keeping his sheep. Would you like to do that, Nehemiah? Be keeping sheep out in the desert? Amani, would you like to have a husband that was keeping sheep in the desert? Would you? There's his wife was named Zipporah, and she lived out in the desert, and he was keeping the sheep. That's all he was doing, right, Bill? His life was a little like Bill. He just, what did he do? He yawned. His life was a little humdrum, wasn't it?
I was a prince, and now I'm keeping sheep.
Right, and he wasn't being beaten. He wasn't a slave. But look, one day, as he was out on the backside of the desert, something amazing happened. What was it, Nehemiah?
There was a fire on the grass.
On the grass? What was it? Do you know, Amani? What was burning? What is this? What is this?
Those are
Amani, do you
plants.
know? Plants or what?
Fire.
Fire on a bush. Right?
Bush.
You know what a bush is? Yeah.
President.
It was a bush. There was fire on that bush. And Moses said, I'm going to go see what that was, what that is. He kept looking at the bush and looking at the bush. Go ahead.
And the bush is spiky.
Yeah. And he's looking at the bush, and it just kept burning and burning and burning, and it didn't burn up.
Mm-mm.
And he looked at it, and he looked at it, and he said, I'm going to turn aside here, and I'm going to go up there and see why that bush is burning, and it isn't burned up. You know, a little bush like that with a big fire on it like that, it could just burn up in, 2 or 3 minutes. It'd be completely burned up. But it wouldn't burn up. So Moses turned aside to see it. And when he got close, he heard something. Something different than he'd ever heard. What was it, Amani? What did he hear? Beside the crackling in the fire in the bush, what did he hear?
A crackling fire in the bush.
And what else?
Yes.
Remember our song? What did we sing?
Moses, Moses.
The Lord did cry. All right. He heard his name being called, right? Let's all say it. Moses, Moses, the Lord did cry. Right? That's what happened. And guess what Moses did? He was afraid. Because out of the bush came the Lord's voice. That would be scary, wouldn't it? Now, Bill, was that an amazing thing?
Yes.
It was. It was our amazing God can do amazing things. He did do an amazing thing. He started that bush on fire, and he did not let it burn up. Wow. So he cried, the Lord cried out to him, Moses, Moses. And Moses is going, here am I. Here am I. And then the Lord, what did the Lord tell him? Remember the song? What did the Lord tell him then? The Lord spoke back to him, what? Draw not nigh. Don't come any closer.
Yep.
Draw not nigh. Don't come any closer. And he said, take off what?
Take off your shoes, you're on holy night.
Holy what?
At
Holy
least he
night.
made it
No.
right. At least he made it right.
Take off your
He was
shoes,
wrong.
you're on holy ground. Right?
Take off your shoes, you're on holy ground.
Right.
I'm gonna try. Take off your shoes, you're on holy ground.
So he wanted Moses to realize that because he was in the bush, that was holy ground. God had stepped down from heaven, and God had put the fire in the bush. The Bible says the angel of the Lord was in the bush. That angel was in that bush, and God was speaking through that angel and saying, you don't get any closer, Moses. You're standing on holy ground. What?
And he saw the brown thing come right here.
What brown thing?
Right
It's a
here.
rock.
That's a rock. What did you think it was, a rabbit?
I thought it was a ram.
No, that's a tree thing that I
Well,
saw.
it's nothing. This is what you were supposed to look at, Moses. He's just a shepherd. He's an old shepherd then. How old was he then, Bill? Do you know?
Well, I think he was later 40s, I think. 'Cause he
Wait a
was-
minute. He was 40 when he went out to see the children of Israel and he killed the Egyptian.
No,
Then he went out here in the wilderness and stayed how long?
I don't know.
40 years.
No,
So-
that was later. wasn't
No, 40 years. How old was he?
it? 80 then.
He was 80. He was older than I am. He was 7 years older than I am. Man, I'm getting close to 80, aren't I? Wow! If by reason of strength, 80. I'm getting close on up there. And I'm almost Moses' age when he saw the burning bush. And when he saw the burning bush, God told him to take off his shoes. He was on holy ground. And God called him out of being a shepherd to sheep, and called him out to come lead the children of Israel out of Egypt when he was 80 years old. Had he ever heard God's voice before that, do you think, Bill?
Probably not.
Probably
I
not.
don't think so.
Yeah. Did he recognize God's voice?
I don't know if he did directly like he had heard it before, but I think he just knew that it was God, because otherwise who would be talking to him?
Out of the bush.
Right.
Out of the bush. So he knew that God was talking to him, but God told him to go back to Egypt and help them to get out of slavery. He gave him some signs. He let him put his hand in his breast and it comes out leprous, and he put it back in and it wasn't leprous anymore. He gave him a sign of his rod. He threw it down. It became a serpent. He picked it up and it was a rod. So God gave him some signs. Only God could have done that right. And I'm going to tell you, God can do amazing things to call you out. You children might think, oh, well, God will never speak to me. God will never do anything so amazing. Look, he took his shoes off. Look. And he's standing there and talking to God in the burning bush. Now, did the bush ever burn up? No, it didn't. The bush didn't burn up.
Maybe when God left the bush, but we don't know.
I don't know. It's just, I think he just took the fire with him. I don't know.
And then the fire just came up.
And left with the angel, when the angel left maybe. We don't know what happened at the very end. We only know that Moses argued with God about being able to do what God wanted him to do. And I hope when God calls you out, he might do something amazing. What could he do to call Amani to be his little girl and live for him? What could he do? I wonder. Would he ever put a bush on fire and you look at the bush and say, and he'd call you, Amani, Amani, I want you to do something for me. Would you do it? You would. Would you sing for him? You would.
I'll sing with my guitar.
You sing with your guitar, yes.
Now we sing with my
drums? Your drums?
Yeah.
You play the drums.
No, with my real drums that can bang.
Right, your real drums.
You might stop doing
So, when God calls you out, you know, Bill, something might amazing, this might be why you're in our class today. Something amazing might happen to help you to know what God's will is for your life. Brother Jose, have you ever had God do anything amazing to make you know that He wanted you to serve Him? Have you ever thought of it? What amazing thing?
Amazing in the fact that, you know, in a vision of myself, in a church, showed me, myself, and my family together in the front of the church for worshiping God.
Mm-hmm.
That's
It was a dream.
It's a vision.
Was it? Oh, a vision. Okay, and that's an amazing thing, isn't it? A vision.
Or a dream, yeah.
Yeah, and what about? Have you ever had anything, Bill, that the Lord's done for you to make you know that He's talking to you? He's trying to help you to be able to call you out to do the work He wants you to do.
I've seen Him do amazing things. I don't know if it was in that context of calling me out, but I've seen Him do amazing things.
And when God does amazing things, then it helps you to believe Him for living day by day, doesn't it? Like Moses, he had to, once he saw God through this burning bush, he held on to that. It was something he believed in. He held on to it, and he even went back to Egypt. And he was, he might have been afraid to go back, but he went back because the Pharaoh that was seeking him to kill him was dead. It was a different Pharaoh. So when he went back, he was a little afraid, but when he got back there, Aaron came out to meet him. God sent Aaron out to meet him. God will, even though He shows you what you're going to do, He'll work with you and help you to do it. Like Amani now. If God wants Amani to sing for Him, He's already teaching her songs, isn't He? Is He teaching you songs and teaching you how to sing? He's already working with Nehemiah, teaching him how to play the drums. Isn't He teaching you how to play the drums? See, you had amazing thing. You know what amazing thing you had, Nehemiah? What was it?
Amazing thing is that you can do your songs or you can do your music.
Right, that's an amazing thing. You know why you can? Because you have a daddy that plays the drums. He's teaching you to play the drums by his example. And let me tell you, you know something amazing about Brother Jose? Is he didn't even know how to play the drums 5 years ago, did you? 5?
It's been longer.
It's been a little longer than that.
5 or 6 years ago, Brother Jose played the trumpet. He did not play the drums.
Mm-hmm.
He did not. He
About
played in a band and he played the trumpet. He did not play the drums.
about 10 years ago.
Is it been 10?
About 10 years
10
ago.
years ago, he did not play the drums. Now, so if God wants to use you playing the drums, He gave you a daddy that did not even know how to play the drums when he was your age. He did not even know how to play the drums when he was Bill's age. See? That's an amazing thing, isn't it? So that you could learn. And Amani, you were born with a mommy that sings and sings. That's why you're going to sing. That's an amazing thing. God could had given you a mama that could not sing at all. And then you might not even have sung. And it's like Bill. Let me tell you the amazing thing about him playing the bass. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
I started teaching him piano lessons. He would not practice.
Yeah.
He did not like the piano, did you? No. Did not like the piano, but I was teaching him how to read music and trying to teach him, but it was hard teaching a child that did not want to practice. But one day, it was Christmas, and Laney was going to play for our Christmas play, Silent Night. And Bill, you had just started trying to play the mandolin, right? And I said, Bill, I want you to pick the mandolin, Silent Night, with Laney, and she plays. And so you went home, and you started trying to pick those mandolin strings. And all of a sudden, is it all of a sudden, or took a long time to try?
I mean, I think over time I kind of got it.
Well, you did get it ready for the Christmas play. He picked Silent Night on the mandolin for the Christmas play. And then you decided you didn't want to play the mandolin, you wanted to play the guitar. So I'm not a guitar player, but we got a book and we started helping you learn to play the guitar. I did, by just us going through the book. And then you picked up the bass. And now you've held on to the bass all the time. And I don't have to worry about him practicing. I don't have to nag him to practice.
He likes to do it.
He loves it. He loves playing it. So see, it was an amazing thing, wasn't it? That God let you learn what your instrument was.
And I think the piano, as far as the piano lessons go, that I probably could play the piano at least enough to know chords, but I think the music theory was more important than any of that. Mm-hmm. And, because what I do now with playing the tuba and then playing the bass in the jazz band and playing with, some amazing people, that kind of where it's come, and it's been amazing as well to see where the path was.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So you learned about music through the piano lessons and about theory, and then you went on from there to find your instrument. And Jose, Nehemiah may not end up playing the drums, just like you didn't end up playing the trumpet. Mm-hmm. He may end up playing a different instrument. Amani, I'm really planning to get with these kids on the piano pretty soon. Are y'all gonna be ready pretty soon? I'm gonna teach y'all about the piano, and then you can decide. But for the drums. Yeah, well, you're already ready for the drums, but I mean about the piano. Okay, so I just want you to understand that when we talk about our amazing God, not just God in heaven, we're talking about God that's able to amaze us, what He does to call us to do a work for Him, what kind of lengths He will go to get our attention and to show us what He wants us to do. God will help us. I never thought that I would be a pastor. Never. I never thought. There's so many things I'm doing now that I never thought that I would do. Mm-hmm. But God has just step by step led me into this, and He has shown me many amazing things to help me to have faith in Him to do what He wants me to do. So just expect God to do amazing things to call you out, Jose. Not that you've been bad. It's not because you've been bad. Moses wasn't bad, was he? It wasn't calling him out for doing wrong. It was calling him out of being just a shepherd on the backside of the desert to being the leader of his people, millions of people, to come up out of Egypt. And Moses was going to be the one that led him out. If you think of Moses, where do you think of him standing? Just not right there. I don't mean just right there. In his history, Bill, where do you think of Moses standing? The great place you see him standing. Some place that you yourself are amazed that he's doing it. What?
It would probably be either the Red Sea or Mount Sinai with the Ten Commandments.
Yes. I think of him standing with his rod stretched out over the Red Sea and the Red Sea parting. Don't you think he thought, I never thought I'd be doing this. I'm just a shepherd.
Right.
I never thought I'd be doing this.
The Red Sea is huge as well.
Look at it. Look at it parting in front of me. And that's what's so wonderful about God doing something amazing to call you out, is He's planning to do some amazing things with you too. So if some of you out there that's watching my Sunday school class, if you've never felt or heard the voice of God, I want you to think that maybe God's giving you this lesson because He's just about to do something amazing to call you out. He is amazing, isn't He? Okay, are we about out of time, Brother Jose?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, we'll see you next week. I know Bill probably won't be in our class. Everybody say, thank you, Bill.
Thank you, Bill.
For being in our class. Okay.
For being in our class.
Okay, see you next week.
See you next week.
Yes.